On today's show, we've got huge news, baby, and it's all for you guys in the Onewheel community. We'll drop that at the end of today's episode. Plus, we're buying lunch for one lucky donator to the Float Life Fund, so cross your fingers and get ready to win. But really, folks, today's going to be a fun one with the technician himself straight off the IR. It's Chris Richardson as he joins us from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Oh boy, I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Luch Dog in the morning, and this is the voice of Onewheel. Welcome back, folks! We did it! Well, you guys don't even know. Thank you if anybody's still listening on the live end. We're starting at 11:11 today because we had some technical difficulties. But Chris Richardson from Fort Lauderdale, Florida has been a goddamn champion throughout the whole thing. So, Chris, thank you, buddy. What's up, my man? How are you feeling this morning?
Hey, doing great. I got a false start, and you guys don't see the way I messed up the last stream. We start fresh.
You were awesome. We're ready to go. Belly Matt LaBelle fixing everything as he always does, working his magic. Good morning, my friend.
Well, good morning to you. How are you doing today?
Woo, I feel better now. So welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Sorry we're getting started a little bit late here, but we are excited to jam. We've got a full jam-packed show for you, and I'm excited to do that. Again, we've got huge news coming at the end of today's show, so don't miss that. I've got a lot to get to with my man Chris Richardson, and I'm excited to do it because, really, he taught me how to ride the Onewheel, and I've never met him before. Did you know that, Chris?
It's so great. I hear that a lot, and it's that's what encourages me to do these videos. Like people say that they've learned how to ride because of me, and I think a lot of people injure themselves right at the beginning. I did, and I'd like to help people avoid that. I hate seeing boards come up for sale with 9 miles on it.
For sure. I mean, I don't know why that's happening. 13 miles. I mean, I guess I get it. You're a little nervous. You haven't yet had that aha moment. But no, man, don't sell your board yet. You just got it. And you are the one that taught me how to do this. I watched so many of your tutorials. So really, just thank you.
Well, hey, thanks, man. The more you guys tell me that it helps, the more it makes me want to make them.
Oh, absolutely. So if I can, I'd like to start off with story time. You guys know I like to start with a quick story to just kind of warm you guys up and get you in the mode. And really, this comes from something I used to talk to my baseball team about when I was coaching. And that's Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you know who he is, but this is a old-time Olympic runner. And this story takes place back in Oxford University. What happened was Roger Bannister wanted to break a 4-minute mile. Nobody had ever run a mile in under 4 minutes long. And he said, I'm going to do it. He had set a record for Britain in the Olympics 2 years prior in 1952 for the 1,500-meter race. And so he said, all right, that's fine. I got this. I'm a champion. I'm going to go and I'm going to break the 4-minute mile. I want to run it in under 4 minutes. Nobody's ever done that before. He's got doctors telling him, no, that's a really bad idea. You're going to hurt. Your organs are going to fail. I mean, you're going to hurt yourself here. You could die from this. Nobody's ever done this, Roger. Nobody. He said, that's fine. He's not even really training heavily for this. He just sets up a plan because in his head, he knew he could do it. All right? So he took 2 of the fastest sprinters he could find, 2 fellow Olympic sprinters, and he grabbed them, both named Chris, by the way, which is kind of neat for today. And he grabbed them and he said, look, you're going to be my pace guys, okay? And I want you to sprint a lap first, Chris, and I'm going to pace myself with you. We all know a mile is 4 laps around the track. And then the second guy is going to tag in when I get to the second lap, and he's going to sprint a lap while the other guy takes a break. And I'm just going to have 4 sprinted lap pacers, and I'm just going to try to stick with them. That's how I'm going to do this. And the doctor's like, no, dude, Roger Bannister, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to die. He said, fine, bring a goddamn ambulance. Put it over there at the finish line. I'll be fine. But just if it makes you feel better, go ahead and put one there. So, Oxford University, he goes out, and he starts the first lap, and he's moving. Woo, he's off to a good start. He's keeping right pace with that runner. Second lap, he's moving. We're feeling good. Third lap, drops pace a little bit. He's a little behind that pace runner. But fourth lap, he picks it up. And everybody in the stadium, now about 1,800 people, knows he's close. This is coming down to it. He's coming to the end of the line. And he's right there with that paced runner. He's got a shot. He crosses the finish line, and this is a true story. Over the loudspeaker, the announcer says, you can hear a pin drop at this moment. And with a time of 3 minutes and that's all anybody heard, because at that moment, everybody knew they had just witnessed history. He had just ran a sub 4-minute mile for the first time ever. And so, of course, I mean, it's 3 minutes, 59 seconds and 4 milliseconds, something like that. And it's back in 1954. And so why I wanted to bring this up is because I wanted to ask you how long you think that record lasted. Because the honest answer is less than 2 months. 46 days later, somebody ran another 4-minute mile and broke his record. And I think that really has a large a testament to the fact that it's mental barriers that we have. And once we are shown that something is possible, it's magnanimously easier to do. And I want to open it up to Chris now and ask him, how much respect do you have? Because I see you doing a lot of tricks. You're coming up with a lot of tricks your own. How much respect do you have for anybody who comes up with a trick for the first time, showing it to this awesome community that we have?
I didn't know the full details of that story. I knew that story. I knew that when he broke the 4-minute mile, there wasn't a long time till after that he broke it. And I shared with you my example. In my mind, I think of as the first guy to do a backflip on a dirt bike. Because he wasn't a pro. He was not, nobody knew who this guy was. This was just some guy that decided to go out in his backyard, make a mound of dirt, and figure it out. And then after he did it, of course, all the pros knocked it out within days. I mean, within days, they knocked it out. And it's philosophically, the way I think of it is, it's a chicken and egg thing. It's not, it may not be that he's the first one to do it. Now he created that reality. That reality didn't exist until he made it. He made that happen. Same with advancements in medicine or technology or anything. And I made a comment on the forums the other day because Jeff McCosker posted something that nobody had done yet. And I said, I just want everybody to kind of keep in mind, I'm posting my videos of doing the trick and I knock it out, but he's the one that first did it. And it's just majorly more difficult than the next person to come along. Because not only do they have the slow-mo in our day and age of where you can slow the video down, but just the fact that it's possible. Then you go out there and you say, that trick's out there, I can do it. And that's something everybody needs to think about. And that's something that people like me and the other people that are putting up a lot of tricks that have never been done before, is that all there is to do it is to do it. I mean, now that you've seen that it can happen, go do it. I mean, look at some of the things that nobody was doing when I bought my Onewheel, which is I haven't even had my Onewheel for a year yet. I got it in the end of May last year. And back then, nobody could do, bonks. Pretty much nobody was even nudging up curbs. I mean, a little bit. There were popovers and stuff. A lot of the innovations from Jeff, obviously. But things that we now do that if I'm just riding down the street, I just, I do it. I don't think about it. Weren't even thought of then. And now it's staples, the things that people are doing. Like at Float Life Fest, I could probably count on one hand the number of people in the world that could do a Chinese ollie, a bonk, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And by the time Float Life Fest was done, I mean, there was probably a dozen or more.
And that speaks to the mental barriers that we're talking about. I think there's a lot of you guys. I didn't get to go to Float Life Fest. I had to work a couple weddings last year. But I think there's a lot. I heard a lot of responses that, oh, my God, once I saw people like Bodie and Jeff and Chris and all these people sending it, Stro, I mean, it upped my game. Lance told me that when we rode in D.C. one day. He was telling me that, he saw you guys, like you maniacs, I think is how he put it in a good way, riding like crazy. And he was like, all right, I got to step up my game. So really the question is to you guys, what are you going to come up with next? Because people like Chris and Jeff and all these riders, Bodie out there, they're pulling this stuff out of their head. So don't be afraid to pull something out of your head and really give it a shot. Maybe you break your rib. We'll talk about that in a second. But, don't be afraid to try something new.
Yeah, and I'm 44 years old.
Which blows me away, by the way. I thought you were probably my age, 34, 35, something like that.
It's I do have to worry about not breaking myself.
Did I just call him old, like right to his face? I feel like it's totally just
me, man. It's more of a compliment. I'm still doing this stuff at 44, and that's why I'm more like the demographic of Onewheel owners. Most Onewheel owners are in their 30s and 40s, and there's guys in their 50s and 60s, and they ride well. And that's one of the great things about the Onewheel. It's not so much like the skateboard. There's a lot you can do on a Onewheel that you can't on a skateboard. I stepped on a skateboard a couple months ago for the first time in a while, and it felt immensely heavy and light at the same time. You know what I mean? I mean, because the Onewheel so effortlessly moves.
Right.
A skateboard only 4 pounds, and it's strange, the feeling.
Chris, the snowboard felt so clunky to me. What's up, Ellie?
That and age is just a number, folks.
It is just a number. You're only as old as how you feel. And goddamn, after the amount of weight that this kid lost, Chris lost a whole Onewheel worth of weight. And we're just impressed to see all the stuff that you're doing. I thought you, I mean, I'm not saying that you look old. You're sending it like goddamn Bodie. And at 44, I got to imagine, I'm already hurting at like 34, 35 years old. Like, I come back, Belly, you see it. I'm like, I meant to tell you guys. Check this out. You can get this on Amazon. I don't know, what's it called? The Solid Back. It's a neck.
Today's episode is sponsored
massage
by
thing?
Solid Back.
Yeah, thank you, Solid Back. We appreciate you for totally not sending me this. I bought it for $10 on Amazon. But look at this. It's just 2 golf balls. And they're like on the back here. Oh, God. Because when you're riding the one wheel and you're always riding one way, you're always looking that way. And so you kind of are always doing this, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always kind of get a crick in my neck, and I started riding switch now. But, man, this thing just, ooh.
To pick one of those up, that was pretty awesome.
It's called a Solid Back. It's a neck and joint massager. You can pick it up on Amazon Prime.
And that's what makes you old.
Yeah. That's true. What's that, Chris?
You can teabag yourself with that. That's pretty cool.
So let's pull up, if we can. Let's try to do something fun. And this could be interesting or a nightmare. Who knows? But I want to watch the play-by-play as Belly does some behind-the-scenes. Chris, if you could pull up the play-by-play from your rib-breaking nightmare. We've got a slam video. We're going to try to sync it up so that we'll show you guys on the live stream. At the same time, Chris is watching it on his phone. And we'll have him give us the play-by-play of exactly how he took the worst fall that he's taken in his career of riding a one wheel. Are you better yet? I was really hurt to see you were hurt.
Probably 90%. I'm still doing physical therapy once a week, and it still kind of hurts. But once I get to riding and my body gets warmed up, I just keep going. I probably shouldn't, but I just keep riding.
Well, I mean, it's not like you're taking it easy either. I mean, I see you putting together like, you know, like pipe slides. I don't even know where you found that. Are you ready for it?
I cut out some of the like high bonks off of ledges and stuff, but yeah, it's,
perfect. Okay, so we've got it up. Chris, are you looking at it in front of your eyes?
Yep. Good.
Okay, so we'll try to sync this up. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, go. If you guys could press play, 3, 2, 1, go, and let's get the play-by-play, Chris.
So this is a cheap Amazon ramp I bought on a lightning deal. There's a test run, checking it out. See if it's going to go smooth. It looks like it's okay, but at speed, it flexes more.
Ow! Jesus.
Yeah.
I wish
so
I
catch
had
the nose, and you can see me catch the nose, and then unfortunately my back foot hits the wheel. The wheel's still going forward, so it pitches my back foot forward. I can't put my back foot down, so I end up catching the rail with my ribs.
Now you're about to go through. Look at all the dirt on his face, the wood chips just peeling off his face. We don't have the audio right now, but right now he's saying, "Oh!" and you can see in slow motion the nose hits, right?
Speed, you can kind of see it, and yeah, my back foot catches the wheel, and it just So see my back foot, I have no chance to catch it,
and then bang right on his rib. That rail looks like it just crushed you, man. How long were you down? That's his voice. Belly, take it back. Hold on, take it back to the beginning. Good job, bringing that up. That was perfect. Bring it back. Bring the volume back up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can hear the pain.
Yeah, volume up. Volume up. Belly, trust me. Yes, that right there.
You want to hear the pain.
I don't mean to be laughing at you, but now that you're okay, it's completely hilarious.
I know. It's that's why I put it up. I put it up like a couple days after I did it. I record everything, so if you're gonna hurt yourself, at least get it on 1080p, 60 frames per second, and put it online so we can all see it.
That's so good. Thank you for doing that. We're gonna go ahead and get it off that right now so that people can stop seeing you get killed. Belly, great job. I know that's a lot harder than it looks in real time live on the stream. So, Chris, very good with the play-by-play there, man. I don't know, that rib pain sucks because you just can't breathe. And I know when I saw that, I personally was like, oh no, he's out of the game. Come on, how am I going to learn my next trick?
And it happened when the weather's nice in Florida. Yeah,
of course.
It was not pleasant.
When is the weather not nice in Florida, a-hole?
It's hot summer most of the year, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah. So I guess let's get into. Well, I do want to say one quick thing on how would you, if we're talking about pushing the limits, since we started off with the Roger Bannister and mental barriers, how do you go about pushing the limits in a safe way so that you can really get out of your comfort zone, but also not have what just happened to you happen to the listeners?
One talent, which isn't really a talent, that I guess has served me well in my life and allowed me to achieve a lot of any of my great successes. I have to call it simplify it down to the most simplest thing would be just relentless, just brutal logic. Just logic, just
What?
straight up. You tear a problem down into the smallest piece, the smallest actionable piece that you can do something about, and you do it. So like if I want to do a trick and I want to learn something, if I have an idea and see if it's possible, I set a camera down, I got a remote control, and I try it. And usually it's a disaster. And then I look at the film and I figure out, what did I do wrong? What can I do? Why is it not working? And maybe it's a limitation of the Onewheel or the sensor or the motor or something. But you just take it apart into little pieces and just over and over and over and over again.
Well, that's what I appreciate from your tutorials is that you break down every aspect of the trick. And I think there are two people out there, because Jeff McCosker talked about it last week, how he's not that kind of a person. He just wants to get out there and try, and feel it out. I think, there's the other side of things who will probably really like your videos like I do. And if he's all over, we'll tell you where to get his tutorials. But, I mean, I learned... You got me comfortable jumping off a curb because you break down every little thing leading up to it. I never thought to look for a curb that leads into grass because that's not intuitive, but those exist. Yeah. Those exist.
As soon as you know they exist, kind of like the 4-minute mile, you're driving around and your eyes, you're not looking at the road anymore. You can drive on autopilot. You can drive to the grocery store, but while you're on the way, out of the corner of your eye, you'll see things. I'm going to stop by there later.
Yeah, that's a spot. That's a new spot. I actually did a YouTube video that's getting... How about that? I sit here and I make videos and shows and for a living, as a job, and this is what we do for fun, and also it's our kind of side job. And usually they get, a couple hundred live video views, maybe 1,000 views. I did one that was terrain around your neighborhood, things to look for. And it's like at almost 2,000 views now. And I'm awful. It's like 3 weeks after I got my board. I'm so sick about it. All these people are watching me ride like an idiot.
My most viewed video is the loadouts video.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know what to buy. What do I need to go with my Onewheel? Everybody, if you can spend $1,500 on a Onewheel, you got more. You're ready. You want the accessories, and I think that's what people really appreciated is what worked for me.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the social media lounge is very sympathetic for you for all the views we made them watch on your video there.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries. They are.
Man. It's good to watch.
Do we have any comments? Can you just read through a comment or two?
Sure. We have like Lance
what do you mean they're sympathetic? I don't understand.
Lance the Shred says, I cringe every time I see that rib crusher.
Oh, that one was tough. I know, dude. We had to show the people just like that one nosedive that dude had who wouldn't come on the show. Well, not that he wouldn't. He never got back to me. But, man, that was Seth, I think his name was. What else you got from the social media lounge?
Social media lounge says, one woman, one wheel says, oh, my God, so true about the neck.
Yeah. Feeling it, Mandy. All right, good. And you know what? Great segue. Fantastic. She's going to need this. Mandy, I'm telling you, it's called a solid back. They don't pay me. I don't know why. I just like the thing. It's really good. It's got 2 golf balls. It's very, whatever. You see me do it. It helps your neck.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. My fault. So what I wanted to say is Mandy's going to need this because she is putting together something that is going to be incredible for all you guys. I'm just joining on, and I'm like riding her coattails for this. Amanda Thompson, Thamanda Crompson, One Woman, One Wheel is putting together, Chris, a ride from Boston down to Float Light Fest, and she's going to collect riders on the way. So she's going to leave, I don't know, we haven't set the date yet, but if Float Light Fest is on that Saturday, we're going to have her leave like Monday, like a week before, and she's going to come down and each day pick up new riders on the way. And we're going to try to get a situation where Mandy's riding through each city, picking up new riders. They end up riding through each city, and then they move on and grab new riders all the way down. And then on the last day, they end up at Float Life Fest. And bam, here we are. How good is that?
That just extends the party. That just makes Float Life Fest last forever.
Right?
That's great.
That's perfect.
So we're trying to call it Mandy and the Caravan. Mandy's Caravan. Is that Mandy? Mandy and the Caravan.
She's saying now she's connected.
She's in?
Now she's committed.
Oh, now she's committed. Yeah. So I don't, you're in, Mandy. Thank you. That was a very good idea on your part. We're putting it out there. And so if you want to be a part of that trip, if you're anywhere between Boston and Asheville, North Carolina, you can just, we'll have meetup spots for each day. And we're going to send Mandy down, straight down. And you can become a part of the caravan and meet us at Float Life Fest next year, this October. I can't wait.
It's fun. That sounds great.
Yeah, man. You're in Florida. Maybe you could set something up coming up north.
Ooh, too much work. That's ambitious.
True.
I appreciate the people that do it. Maybe I'll join in if somebody else does it.
Well,
I got a question from the social media lounge.
Fire away.
I've got hey Chris, what's your favorite digital shaping and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's good. Well, I got to give you two answers because I have two favorites.
Well, tell them what a
If
digital
battery life was unlimited, it'd be delirium all day long. But since it's not, I generally go mission all the time.
and tell them what digital shaping is for any new listeners out there.
Okay, yeah. So if you're not familiar on your Onewheel, you can go into your Bluetooth app and you can change the way your board rides, and you have several options.
Which is absolutely incredible, by the way. I mean, that's fucking amazing. Excuse my language, but really, I'm on a board, I swipe, and it rides different. Come on, that's amazing. So which one you said? Go through those again. I want to get those more clear.
Yeah. So it used to be always mission before there was delirium.
Sure.
Then when delirium came out, it was all delirium.
Sure.
Then boards were failing in delirium, so I was a little scared of it. I still don't know whether or not that was because of delirium or not. So I started writing mission. Then I started really appreciating mission and realizing that I could ride a lot longer on a battery with mission. So generally, I ride mission.
Even doing the tricks? You do your tricks in mission?
Almost exclusively.
Really? See, now I'm a delirium guy.
Really gets sucked up.
Say that one more time.
If you're in grass, battery really gets sucked up.
It does. That's definitely true. But I feel like delirium rides better in grass. I have a lot more control because in grass it's a lot more slippery, right? So in delirium, I want it to ride tighter. No.
That torque kicks in better in delirium. Yeah. The board is just, I mean, the reason they call it delirium, the thing is just, it's max torque, it's max everything. And so, yeah, it's the best of everything.
But let me ask you a question, because that's thank you to the Social Media Lounge. And again, 571-354-7338. Again, 571-354-7338, or just jump on the YouTube stream, TTR Studios, and text us there in the chat room. I always leave it on delirium because I can't not ride grass. I have to ride some grass every single ride. If I was just gonna do straight up like a parking garage, I'd put it in mission because it's straight up butter. But if I'm going to add grass, I always thought delirium is better on it. But you're saying nah, man, leave it in mission and just go.
I'm kind of doing the opposite of what you're doing, but there's nothing wrong with riding delirium, and I would probably never switch out of delirium if. But I mean, I get maybe 2 miles out of a ride if I'm just doing tricks in grass in mission.
Yeah.
So
in mission,
like cut in half.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Belly, because, the grass murders your battery. Murders it.
Well, plus, maybe this will give somebody an eye into my mind and the way I try to knock out some of these tricks. You see these tricks and they look, ridiculous, but it's sometimes I'll sit there and I come home and I got 150 videos on my GoPro or my phone because I sit there and I go. And so I'm not just cruising gently in grass. I'm hard going fast in grass. Then I jump up and slide something and jump off of it. So I'm using the motor pretty hard. And so it really, the battery doesn't last very long.
Anything more from the Social Media Lounge?
I had one question about what if Onewheel was kind of still in the hobby stages of its, or are we full on sport now?
My honest answer is that it's still in hobby phase. I don't think this is I think it's the early adoption. Right now, we still have the majority of the folks on the planet saying, what the fuck is that thing?
What people need to appreciate about the Onewheel, let me just say something here that I think you got to appreciate that this thing came out of the gate a board sport capable device. This thing came out of the gate to able to go, I mean, people are pushing it to 25 miles an hour, rated for 19, whatever, easily 20 miles an hour. They could have made this a toy. They made it something, it's a beast. Roll this thing down concrete, roll it down asphalt, roll it, beat the crap out of it. And it's durable, it's metal, it's money metal. There's no plastic in this thing. I mean, it's a beast. I mean, this thing would have never been what it is now. I mean, and the fact that people are even asking the question, is this thing a sport yet? Because it's obvious it is. It's going to be. There are going to be. I'm surprised there aren't other devices yet. There's other companies out there probably just waiting, trying to figure it out. Somehow Kyle, in his genius, he was inspired. This machine is amazing. I mean, 1 horsepower motor, hub centric, 7 miles. I mean, jumping off of things.
But how do we make it so that it doesn't turn into fruit bootin', which I thought was hilarious from last episode, which was the nerdy name for rollerblades, I guess. How do we make this? McCosker was saying we've got to be careful not to let this go down the lame route and let it just kind of die. We want it to explode and turn into a snowboarding or a skateboarding or a wakeboarding, which is now, universally accepted. My question is, how do we get it on the X Games? I want to get this on the X Games. Chris, how do we do that?
Part of what I said is part of the reason why it's avoided that. If there was never a Onewheel, imagine a world in which there was never been a Onewheel, but there was a trotter, and there were those other, the Walmart, I don't know what they're called, they're like a $400 thing. but there was never a Onewheel. They would never would have had a chance. It's because people like Kyle went out there and made something that can go 19 miles an hour, that can jump off of things, that can go on the beach. You see pro surfers using it. It's when you see people that are already respected in the sports communities, board sport communities or action sports communities.
Tony Hawk has one.
They do, yeah. So it's really, right now it may not be its own sport per se. It's more like an accessory to board sports though. And it's got broad spectrum appeal though. This is a kind of product that it's got real potential.
Well, you make a really good point, is that they could have easily started out with toy versions and made, is this worth it? No, they went straight to the top. We're going to make the adult full-on sport version of it. And then if people want to make knockoffs, go ahead.
How many people you think told Kyle he was crazy? $1,500.
People still tell me I'm crazy. I mean, I didn't make the damn thing. I just do a show about it, and I can't stop talking about it in my personal life. That's all.
Once they're hot and mass-produced, that price will skyrocket. It's crushed down.
I hope so. I hope so. And you know, maybe we can talk to Future Emotion about that. Maybe, you know, the price is what it is, but I kind of like that it's up there because it. You know, I feel torn.
As early investors.
Well, no, I feel torn because I want I don't want to sit here and say no, it's great, keep the price high, because I mean we have a voice here. We literally are the voice of the community, as all of us. But the truth is, the moment that you bring the price down, then I think you start getting into Trotterville, and people will think, oh, it's only $600. It can't be that good. If you hear $1,500 for that thing, it better be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's, I mean, really, and everybody I always see whenever Future Motion posts a video, look in the comments. I mean, probably a good 40% of the comments are, oh, that's too much money. Oh, I could make something like that. That thing should be $300. Call me when it's $300.
Right.
And usually people will comment, go for it then. Why haven't you done it?
So, Chris, we've got a call coming in here for you. And again, caller, welcome to the show. But again, remember, Chris can hear you, but you cannot hear him. So go ahead and say whatever you'd like to us. And then remember, once you get your question in, we're going to hang up on you just so that you can go back to the live stream and listen to Chris on your own. But who are you? Where are you from? And welcome to the show.
This is Lance Adam. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, brother. What's up, Lance? How you doing, my man?
You, my friend. I just have to, commend my man Chris here. When I met him at Float Life Fest, I got to tell you that he's one of the most genuine guys you ever want to meet. And as far as, his videos on his channel, he has the most comprehensive videos on learning tricks and his loadout. I don't know if you've ever seen his video on his Onewheel loadout, what this guy carries in his backpack.
He's a nutcase, Lance. He's a nut.
It's insane, man. I mean, this dude's bringing brooms with him to sweep off the freaking toxins.
He does.
I got to tell you, I appreciate you, Chris. I consider you a friend, even though I didn't get a chance to spend much time with you, man. But you're one of those genuine guys out there, and I appreciate everything you do for the community, my friend.
Thank you, Lance. We appreciate you. We'll go ahead and let him respond to you. Thank you for the call. We will see you. Now, keep calling in, man. You do a great job. That is Lance, I believe, Caston. And what would you have for him, Chris? What do you got for him there?
Thanks so much, man. I really love hearing stuff like that. I really appreciate that. That's what makes it worthwhile. And just helping people out and seeing them enjoy their boards more, I really appreciate that. And Lance is an amazing guy. You got to meet this guy. If you haven't yet, if you were at Float Life Fest, you met this guy. That's the kind of guy that he is. He was everywhere, and his board is amazing. He won the contest for the best modded board. He's got the Rush-themed
it's sick.
Punk board that's
so sick
with fender that he cut so that it's half, you can pull off the fender so it's like a half fender. It's amazing, and it's an amazing guy. I really hope he gets to Float Life Fest again this year, that's what you guys missed if you didn't make Float Life Fest.
I know, I can't wait to do it next year. 571-354-7338. Thank you again for the calls, and feel free to keep coming in. What do you got, Belly?
We've got a text too that says, hey Chris, what's your favorite trick to do right now, and what are you working on?
My favorite trick is probably the bonks, because who doesn't want to fly?
Okay.
I mean,
all right. I'm going to shut up. I don't want to cut him off, but I got a whole more, because we did bonks last week. I started trying them. I feel like I'm getting them, but what are you working on now? And then we'll get back to that.
There's tricks that I've been working on since I first got my board that I still haven't got yet. I mean, I've got stuff that's months into development that hasn't happened yet. It's my 4-minute mile. I don't know if I should say it yet, because then some 19-year-old kid, what I'm talking about, is going to go out and knock it out. We've had a friendly rivalry over a few tricks. It's been kind of fun to push each other. But
you in boat mode?
Yeah, there were a couple of tricks back in the beginning when I first got my Onewheel, and nobody done a 360 shove it yet. And I did just the sloppiest, most horrible 360 shove it anybody's ever seen, and he comes in it. Nah, that doesn't count, man. I'm like, all right. So then a couple of days later, he did better ones. I'm like, God, I'm gonna get that in a couple of days. I'm out there day after day, 90-degree heat, till I finally got it better. Like,
and that's how we grow it, man. That's how we grow the community. And I know, speaking for Bodie, he said he doesn't want to just sit there at the top. He wants to get people up with him and to ride along. And if somebody surpasses, then that is what it is. But that's what's making this community what the joy to be a part of that it is. I really appreciate that.
I love the guy. He's been good to me. He's been nice to me. And even when he comes into my threads with his passive-aggressive salt to push me a little bit, I'm like, all right, I got you, man.
He should just hashtag Bode Mode. I love it. So, listen, man, I know we're running up on a little bit of time here, but I do want to talk to you about anybody that says, I'm afraid of nosediving. What do I do? What do you say? You see it all the time. I don't want to spend too much time on nosediving. Maybe 2 minutes here on what advice you would have for a noob, a Captain Noob Air just coming in, and there's nothing wrong with you new riders worrying about your safety. It's just the people that are in these groups have seen these posts go the same way over and over again. Somebody asks about it. We all give the same answers, and then you either figure it out or you sell your board. So what do you have to say to somebody who's new riding and really freaking out about nosedives?
People get tired of hearing about it on the forums, but the reason it keeps coming up is because it's really important.
Right.
This may be the most important aspect of one-wheeling that there is, because if you can't get past that, you're going to be one of those 9-mile boards that ends up sold because you broke your shoulder and your wife broke her shoulder. I bought a board off a guy for $750, a Onewheel Plus, because he just knew something was wrong with the board. Nothing's wrong with the board. It's just that Future Motion doesn't really go into it in their manuals or anything. You don't learn about it. And I talk about it in some of my videos. I give some of my theory on motors and how they work. And so the easiest thing I could tell people is get on the board and learn what pushback is.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It spends at 15 miles an hour. Well, number one thing I should mention, you wouldn't think you'd have to mention, but I actually did it too. I got on my board and I started riding in cruise mode. I actually called the factory because I'm like, why is this thing? It keeps sticking the tail to the ground. What's going on? Don't ride in cruise mode. Don't ever ride in cruise mode. I'm sorry. Just
I never have. Is that what it does? It puts the tail on the ground?
It's pushback starts at like 9 miles an hour, which is nothing. It's like So get out of there. Get into mission. Just start in mission. And
but to be quick about it, learn your board. Most importantly, learn your board. Don't just get out there and see people like Chris doing crazy ass stuff on, curbs and pipes and whatever you see, and then you just think, all right, well, cool, I'm gonna mow. I have to give a piece of advice that I've heard. 30 seconds. The best thing I ever heard when I was waiting for my board to ship, somebody in the group, and it wasn't a very main contributor, they said to treat it in acceleration, to treat it as if it had gears. The same way a automatic car, you don't want to just hammer down the pedal and leave it down. You want to let off of it a little bit so that it can have a chance to accelerate to the next gear. And I find if you ride that way as you're accelerating, don't just hammer your foot down so that you just start going forward. Do that for a little bit and then rock back on your heels and then get onto your toes and mow forward a little bit. Rock and go again. And you can go a lot faster and way more comfortable. At least that's what I've found.
I've used that exact same analogy with an automobile. If you were at a dead stop and you want to get to 80 miles an hour, every time, do you just stomp it in first gear?
Right.
Let the tire. Your tires are going to spin. It takes way more energy, and your gas mileage is horrible.
Ease up to it.
You gently move up.
Yeah.
So if I had to tell somebody, if I only had a short amount of time, and I'd have to tell somebody what to do to safely get on their Onewheel. Number one, put it in mission. Get out of cruise, and take your phone. I know maybe it's a little dangerous while you're riding. Get a sense of what 15 miles per hour is. 15 miles per hour is your friend. That's where pushback starts. Yeah. And if you never go past 15 miles per hour, you're very unlikely to nosedive.
Now, hold on, sir. The technician, I know you'll appreciate this. Not if they weigh a little bit more. It's not necessarily 15 for everybody, right?
But that's a really good rule of thumb. So, yeah, if you're weigh 220, then it may come on a little bit earlier because the board actually senses resistance, not quite speed. It bases pushback on resistance. And so the third thing I would say is respect inclines. This thing is so damn smooth and well balanced, it will effortlessly push you up a hill until it doesn't.
Perfect. Social Media Lounge, what do we got?
You got inclines.
Yep.
Respect.
So I've got Fabouz from France. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
more, but
Yeah.
Fabouz from
What up, France?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
That look, can I
coming
just
in.
say first before you even get to that, can I just say how fucking awesome that is that I got a dude from France calling in, listening to the show live. Technology is amazing these days. This whole community,
He
I
plans on
can't
being
tell
at
you
Float
how
Life Fest,
grateful I am. So thankful for all of you in different countries and around the world. Thank you for listening. This is really fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So he wanted to know if flight fins were going to be a game changer for Chris.
Before you say that, Michael is gonna come on for Flight Fins. We wanted to have him on. He's a little under the weather, and we want to do it right when we have the Flight Fin brothers on here. So we'll address all of those questions of what you have for the Flight Fins. But Chris, what are you gonna do when you get these things? Are you so pumped when they come out? I think at the end of this month.
Quickly, I think, like you were just saying, not only is it the guy from France that's calling in, but he calls immediately, and we all know who he is.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
I
That is
know
awesome.
who you are, man. I appreciate it. For one thing, in anticipation of Flight Fins, I was really trying to nail down some pretty amazing bonks while people still appreciate it.
Yeah,
Because day one, once you got that, it's going to be, it's going to free the one wheel for a lot of people, I think. Because you're going to roll up to a curb. You don't have to find the ramp anymore. You're just going to kind of lift your back foot and just nudge yourself right over the curb.
No more walk of shame.
It's allow more air tricks. Everybody's going to be flying over everything. It's going to be a blast. I was order number 4 in the world. I made sure to jump on that train.
Hell
and
yeah.
I did the first class, which means I got 3 because I have 3 boards. And so I will be there. And so one thing I'm looking forward to is it's with a one wheel, even more so than a skateboard, it's really hard on a high height bonk to catch the board just right and have it lift up to your feet and catch your feet on it. Now it's going to be just an effort of, I'm going to see how much I can combine the bonk that I can already get a couple feet in the air and then
go, man, launch it.
There it goes.
So
And
Chris,
it's gonna be fun.
it's time to give something away here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And if they're coming on next week, then they actually may be shipping by the time that they're on your show.
Yeah, they're going to come on in the next week or two, depending. We've got some news coming up at the end of the show today. But again, awesome to the guys at Float Fins. Can't wait to have them on here. We're going to do that in the next week or two, and just check out their stuff. Just Google Float Fins, you'll figure it out. But we want to give something away for free. We're going to buy you lunch today, so that'll be fun. Remember the Float Life Fund? We've raised now $640. And this is all going to the Float Life Fest of 2018. And, prizes for riders, new, entertainment for the weekend, anything that we can put it towards. Justin Thompson will take care of you guys. The more we donate, the more we can make it awesome, and the more that we can give away on this show. Haven't had a ton of donations lately, which is totally fine. I'm still going to buy you lunch. So I want to say thank you to the donators. I am going to PayPal $10 straight to a donator that gets chosen right here on the live stream. Belly's showing the donators in order, and then we're going to go over to our random number generator. So thank you for all of you who have donated. Remember, you don't have to throw in 20, 50, $100, which some of you are, and that's awesome. Throw in $1. It counts. It matters. We've got until October. We've got almost 1,000 listeners per show. So go ahead and throw something if you want. If not, just enjoy us giving away to somebody something for free. So go ahead, Belly. What do you got here? Random number 15, the last one, I believe. Are we at?
We're up to 18 donors now.
Okay.
So
Scroll all the way down.
Bottom, the third.
We'll go bottom up.
donation.
So that's 18, 17. 16, 15 is up. Who is that?
Sean.
Sean Schwantes?
Yep.
Is that how you say it? Schwantes? Sean, congratulations, sir. Woo! All right. Congratulations. Fantastic.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
No. Hey, you can't turn that down. I'm buying you lunch. $10. Hopefully that'll get you lunch. I don't know if that'll get him lunch, but hey, it's $10. You have to spend it on food, and I want a picture of the food. I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want with it. And congratulations, Sean. You are a lucky winner, and thank you for donating to the Float Life Fund. If you want to donate and be in next week's donator drawing, you can just find all of that at litmradio.com. And if you scroll down, you'll see a donators button. It's massive. It's right in the middle of the page. I think we got a call coming in. So, Chris, we'll get you out of here in the next minute or two. I know we're running a little bit long. We're excited because, we've got the technician. We call him that because he likes to get into the details. We've got a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Who are you and where are you from?
Hey, this is Tony Howard from Portland, Oregon.
Tony from Portland. What's up, my man? How are we feeling this morning?
Yeah, everything's going great out here, guys. I love what you guys are doing with the show. This is such a great community. You guys talk about it every time, and it can't be said enough. Chris, I am a big fan of yours. New to the community, you really speak to people like me who are. I'm 50 years old, and but I still think like I'm 25. But Onewheel Future Motion makes it very accessible for somebody like me, and you allow me to take the next step. You really speak to the sensibility of learning it at this age, breaking it down bit by bit, and just like the other guys, you've really taught me to ride. So I really appreciate what you're doing as well, and everybody. What a cool community this is.
Tony Howard from Portland, Oregon. Thank you, brother. We are so happy to have you on the show. Chris, anything in response?
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
It's got to be cool to hear, man.
It really is. It really is. And it's just another aspect of the enjoyment of all that is Onewheel. It's the community and the people. And, and I like hearing the older guys that go out there and do something that they didn't think that they could do. Who's 44? I'm 44. I think this gentleman's 50 years old. And he bought a skateboard. He bought a $1,500 skateboard. His wife probably wasn't too happy about it, but he went out there having a blast.
Man, she rides with him. She just got her XR. She's going to get it in March.
Yeah, and that's awesome, and it's becoming a thing for a lot of couples, and that's just so amazing. It's you got something that's it's $1,500, but you got something that's good. It got me off the couch.
Yeah, you did. You dropped like 25 pounds or something.
Probably closer to 30. Yeah, I mean, I just kept going. That was another logic thing. If anybody out there, I just decided, I had an epiphany one day. I sat there and I thought, you know what? It's just as easy to maintain 145 as it is to maintain 175.
This whole losing weight thing, it's pretty great. I'm
just sit there, just do it, And so I just did it, and now I just stay there.
I gotta get you out of here, man. Before we do, I really appreciate you coming on, and I just wanted to say this is from me, and I did not run this by Chris, but I am just, we talked about how the pros, how the Float Life team is chosen. Jeff talked about it a lot last week, and I would just personally like to say that my vote goes to that man right there. I think he should be the next one on the squad. I think he deserves red plates. I don't know if there's already red, but the guy loves his red. And if there's anybody out there who's pushing the community more than this dude and helping other new riders learn, I don't know who it is. So if I had a vote, if I was a journalist voting into the Hall of Fame, which is in our case to have float plates named after him, I vote for Chris Richardson, and I say thank you to everything you do, man. I appreciate it, really.
Wow. Hey, that's amazing. Thank you so much, man. I can't think of a higher compliment than that.
You're welcome, sir. Anything to the social media lounge? Anything left before we get the people out of here? Are we good?
We're good.
God.
I'm just telling everyone thank you so much for commenting in today.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been fun today.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
That's awesome.
Thanks for hanging out. Chris, what do you have left for the people, man? We'll get you out of here.
Just keep riding and get on social media and just follow everybody you can find. Search for the hashtag Onewheel. Search for hashtag Float Life. And just follow everybody you can and get on Instagram. I know you older guys, you don't know what this thing is, but get on Instagram because you'll see all sorts of cool tricks and all that. Not even mine. There's so many people out there that's where you're really going to join the community.
Chris, where can they find your videos, your tutorials, and all things that you do?
Tried to make things simple. Take the word Onewheel and add an E to it, so it's like Onewheel, 3 E's.
He took the word Onewheel and he added an extra E. It's Onewheel with 3 E's instead of 2 for the word wheel. Onewheeel. Dude, thank you so much for joining us.
Onewheel.com with 3 E's will take you to my YouTube channel. My name on Instagram is Onewheel with 3 E's, so pretty much that's it everywhere.
We'll find you. Chris Richardson, the technician, straight off the IR, back in the game. Thank you, brother. We appreciate your time. Belly, we got to get the people out of here. Thanks for joining us today. And for everybody here at TTR Studios, I had a blast. We'll see you next week. The huge news I have been excited to get to. Future Motion is coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, they have decided that they love what we're doing. They reached out. They said they can't wait to be a guest. I'm going to get them in the next week or 2 or 3, whenever it's available to them. But they have decided to come on the show. They can't wait to be a part of the community and reach out, take questions from you guys, and just be a part of this. So thanks to them. That's a really huge piece in this movement, and I'm really grateful that they're going to join us. So let's have some fun with them. Future Motion will join the show the next couple weeks. Chris Richardson and all of us here at TTR Studios, we've had a blast with you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Luch Dog in the morning, and this is the voice of Onewheel.